Good morning, Arnhem City! I'm Marcus. I am your host of Milk and Toast in the morning. Hardcore Milk and Toast in the morning. As you guys can probably tell, I'm on a little bit of a rare mood today. Just kind of feeling good. I'm playing with my little girl and just kind of feeling good today. What do you want then, bitch? That's it. I already got some feedback from you guys about the format. A lot of people like the idea, like the concept. I appreciate that. I put some thought into it. Some people commented that they would probably enjoy it more if it wasn't permadeath. Like if I didn't delete the character when I died and just instead focused on clearing the game. I can kind of see that, especially if it gets... It may get old doing the first part of the game over and over and over if I keep dying. Now, for me, from my perspective, I don't mind it. I don't care if I have to do it over. Like, I just need to get good. But I do understand if that could get annoying for other people. Oh, got it. And so if it ends up getting bad, then maybe I'll adjust it and maybe we'll make that adjustment. But personally, for me, I think it will take a lot of tries to actually clear the game. Like a lot of tries, but it would be less interesting to me without the permadeath. And the reason for that is I don't think it's that difficult to just complete a low-level version of the game. Now, I might be entirely wrong. It might be that I start getting to ROM or the one Reborn. Maybe they just really wreck my shit over and over and over. And if that's the case, if it starts to get to the point where it's going to be boring for people, then maybe I'll at that point consider dropping the permadeath and just finishing the game at low level. But personally, I don't mind to sit here and do it. Like, I guess that's one of my hallmarks. I never really consider myself super skilled or anything like that, but I am very patient for the most part. Like, it doesn't bother me to redo stuff over and over and over until I get it right. Yeah, so that's the feedback you guys have given so far, and that's kind of how I feel about it. Like I said, if it's getting really boring seeing the first part of the game over and over and over, then we'll make an adjustment for you guys more than for me, because I don't personally mind to, to do it over and over and over and over. What else? Yeah. Somebody was asking if I could use one of the other starting weapons other than the saw cleaver. Yes, it's true the axe gives you the highest attack power, but it also consumes a lot of stamina, and we're working with base stamina, so I don't really like it from that perspective. But another issue that I have is that, like, the saw cleaver, it gets a hidden 20% bonus against beasts, so it's a lot stronger than a lot of people probably realize. The threaded cane is another one that it actually does get a hidden bonus against beasts when it's in whip mode, and it gets a hidden bonus against unholy enemies when it's in cane mode. But the damage on it is generally so low that I don't know. Although using papers, it might actually be better than the saw cleaver, but I personally think that out of all the starting weapons, the saw cleaver is just far and away the most balanced, and kind of the one that I want to use. Also, another thing that people probably don't realize is that this move, where you extend the saw cleaver like that, has got a heavier impact than a lot of other attacks. Like, for an attack that's that speed, it has a very good impact. You see how it makes that guy stagger like that? It actually kind of, it's one of those sneaky features of the moveset that it's actually a lot better than you would realize, and that that combined with this sweeping arc when you do a charged attack, that's also very, very good for landing backstabs. Even if you're slightly out of position, say, if this is the enemy's back, and I'm standing here, well, you can do a normal backstab, right? But even if you roll and the enemy's recovering from its attack and you're over here, you can do like this, and you can actually clip it. And that's actually very, very useful. It's a really good feature of this weapon. I basically like the saw cleaver a lot. So that's the reason I'm not using the hunter axe, even though it's technically more powerful. And that's the reason I'm not using the threaded cane. Although, if I was going to use one of the other ones, it probably would not be the hunter's axe. It would probably be the threaded cane, both for aforementioned stamina issues, but also you have to consider the fact that the threaded cane does get those hidden bonuses, and also since we're low level, papers are going to provide a lot of our damage. So the threaded cane attacks very quickly with paper. That's very good. And another aspect of it, yeah, the threaded cane's got a lot of good points. Another aspect of it is that it has a thrust attack. So if we deal with enemies that are strong against normal physical attacks but weak against thrust, we can get some benefit out of that. And I saw too a lot of people complaining about the blunt damage type being kind of shit. Like they're comparing it to thrust, and thrust is actually really good against certain enemy types. It's just really, really good. Whereas blunt, more enemies are going to defend against it than rather be weak against it. And the hunter axe does do blunt damage. God damn those fucking emotes. But one thing that people maybe haven't realized, is that weapons that deal blunt damage also tend to have higher regain values. So there's a little bit of a hidden bonus. Oh shit, I didn't roll. Gotta roll as you hit the ground to recover quickly and be able to move instantly. Like so. Anytime your character's knees would bend, if you roll or backstep, you can recover quicker. So that's how I feel about the starting weapons. Now, don't misunderstand. The hunter's axe is a very good weapon, and the reach that it has is also particularly good. And of course, the transform charge R2 is just ridiculously good in a lot of situations. The leaping attack with it in transform mode's also another good one. But for me, oh shit. Saw cleaver is probably my first choice. Threaded cane would be my next choice, and it might be something that I'll play around with, the threaded cane, particularly since I'm starting to think that we probably won't go to Yarharhar early for Tonitrus, and instead we'll rely on papers. Now, I say that, the thing about it, like a lot of people were pointing out last time, I was talking about going to Yarharhar to get Tonitrus, and people were like, well, you don't have to die to go to Yarharhar, you can just go there later in the game and get Tonitrus. I know that, but it completely defeats the point, because the whole point of getting Tonitrus is to be able to use the bolt damage against, for example, Rom, or, you know, Rom. Mostly Rom, I guess. But actually Tonitrus is just pretty damn good, but the more I thought about it, I feel like it doesn't really give us anything that we can't replace with bolt paper. So, fuck it. That's kind of fuck it. Alright, I'm gonna shut up and fight. Just gonna shoot all day.
What's that smell? The sweet blood. Oh, it seems to me it's enough to make a man sick.
Oh, god damn it. Oh shit. There it is. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh, that's bullcrap. He got caught on the fucking hitbox of the tomb. Sweet. That was bullcrap. I've noticed, finally, after fighting him many times at low level, that dodging around to his left is a lot safer than dodging to his right. Just the way the hitboxes work out. And so I don't think I'm gonna have as much trouble with him in the future. Like, that time I didn't have anywhere near as much trouble as he's given me at some points in the past, so... I'm already getting better. That's the thing, like, I know it's... For a lot of people, it's frustrating to do the same thing over and over, and maybe for some people, it's frustrating to watch over and over, but to me, I feel like every time I'm thinking about and examining how it goes, and assessing things, and trying to make progress, and just get better, and... So for me, it's not a waste at all. Like, even if I go through and I die in the same spot 10 or 15 times, like, eventually, I not only get better at the other parts of the game, but I'll get better at what's killing me too. Like, that's just how it goes, man. I'm thinking about picking up the wooden shield. This is something I never really... At first glance, the wooden shield is just crap. And, like, you can't really... There's not really any reason you can see right away that you would want to use it. But after Miyazaki pointed out that a lot of people really like using it in New Game Plus, at least internal testers were finding it more and more valuable in higher New Game Plus cycles, I started thinking about it, and in specific situations, it can save you from light hits that would otherwise really screw up a run, especially with low vit, so... Ah, it's too fast. There we go. So we're going to pick it up. I think we have the stats to equip it. Get out of here. These guys are actually really, really easy to parry. There we go. Whee! So... yeah. Last time I talked a little bit about my review of kind of Bloodborne overall, how I see it. Here, let me kill this guy. Overall, and one of the biggest things that I complained about, more or less, is a lack of content. Like, it just felt too short to me. I had a commenter by the name of Shiva Nataraja. Shiva Nataraja said, actually, he or she, I'm not sure he or she, but Shiva found that the game was not short at all. I think Shiva said got like 90 hours out of it, something like that, on the first playthrough. And what it was is Shiva's new to Souls games. So that's kind of a consideration there, right? Like, if you've played as much as I have, the game's not so long because there's not as many deaths. Just playing normally anyway. Obviously we're dealing with some deaths here, but... So there is that point that for a new player, there's probably plenty of content. But I think the issue is that at this point, while... I mean, maybe they intended this to be an intro to the Soul series for PS4 owners, maybe, but... For me, I think they can't really afford to ignore... They have such a large and passionate, hardcore fan base. Like, I guess that's probably entirely obvious at this point, but they have such a passionate fan base that I don't feel like they can afford to neglect that. And I think that's... I don't think they were trying to. I think that they wanted to have us covered with replay value in the Chalice dungeons, but it just didn't really work out. And that's actually one of the questions we asked in the interview was, were they trying to downplay New Game Plus this time around in favor of the Chalice dungeons? And they didn't really... They kind of didn't really see it that way. But, you know... That's just how that is. Woo! That was close. Damn dogs. And we're back to Alfred. You're a beast hunter. Yeah, I'll cooperate with you as long as you give me fire paper and the prey gesture, because why not? But I thought that was a very interesting comment from Shiva. Like, it's very easy for me to forget the feelings of truly new players. I have not been truly new since the Korean release of Demon Souls. Like, that's my friend imported. So, yeah, I believe it was the Korean version. It was the Asian Asian region version. Then the Asian region version is not actually the Japanese version. That's something that confuses people a lot. But the Japanese version's in Japanese, very much so. Although the spoken dialogue is in English, but the text is actually in Japanese. Whereas the Asian region version was actually in English, albeit with a slightly different translation from the one that was released in North America. I guess this is just trivia for most of you guys, but it's interesting to me. It's always interesting to me. But I guess the point is, I haven't been new for a very long time. So it's kind of easy for me to forget. Like, as hard as I try not to, and I try to see things from a new player's perspective, it's very difficult. And that's kind of an issue. Like, do they keep making games that people can get into? Actually, we're not going to go to tonight. We're not going to go to Nitrous. We're not going to go to Yarhar Heart a Day and get to Nitrous. Instead, we're going to stick with this saw cleaver, and we're going to use papers on this run. So, since we have 18 shards saved up, perfectly counted, we can just come here and go ahead and get our +3. And this will benefit us when we go to fight BSB. Yep, +3. Alright, and instead of Molotovs, cocktails, fire papers, antidotes. That's what we're gonna do. I almost went to the doll. We are not using your services today, Mrs. Doll. We are not going to use your services at all. Oh, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. I did decide to make one more adjustment, or one adjustment to this format, the Milk Toast format. I'm going to play for roughly 30 minutes, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but if I don't die by the end of the 30 minutes, like if I make it longer than 30 minutes, I'll just end and then I'll pick up the next episode starting right where we left off, instead of being in such a super rush, because that's one thing I can already tell. Permadeath ain't no thing, but I do want to be able to take my time. I like moving fairly quickly, but I don't want to super rush, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm just not that sort of player. Never have been. Never will be. Oh, damn you. You made me miss the other ones. Oh, well. And I just picked those up thinking, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, we will upgrade a pistol. Because it can't hurt. Like, any extra little bit of damage that we get out of our pistol, even if it's just while we're trying to parry, it can come in very useful. Then again, considering the amount of time it takes to do this, I don't know. Alright, all that said, I can finally get to one of my 2 main chat topics for today. I'm probably only going to be able to cover one of them at this rate, but we'll hit the other one whenever. Swordorwhip.com. Like, there is a former producer for Konami, goes by the name of Iga. He's Igarashi, I think is his family name. Igarashi Koji, I think? I can't remember. But Iga left Konami because he was being asked to work on basically social games, essentially mobile games. Like, two-dimensional games in Japan these days are more or less relegated to mobile gaming and social games. And he wasn't having it, so he left. Now, the reason this is important is this is the guy that's basically behind the quote-unquote Metroidvanias, like Symphony of the Night, those sorts of things. Now, I have to admit, I am someone who kind of takes a little bit of exception to the use of the term Metroidvania when describing a non-Castlevania game, because at that point, it's really just Metroid, isn't it? I mean, that's the Metroid formula. Now, I guess that's not entirely true, though. That's not entirely true, because to me, I guess these days, people say Metroidvania, and it implies that there will also be, for example, a leveling aspect, which is not classic Metroid. Metroid, though, in general, it's got those different means of traversing the levels, and you unlock them later, and then you can go back and revisit older levels to explore new parts of the area that you couldn't see before on the first time through. That's Metroid, but if you're saying Metroidvania, then I think it needs to incorporate a leveling system similar to Soten, Symphony of the Night, for example. Then I can see calling it Metroidvania. But if you're just talking about something that's a 2D platformer that encourages exploration and allows you to backtrack once you get new abilities, that lets you unlock new areas and stuff, that's just fucking Metroid now, isn't it? That is not... And it's funny to me how much Castlevania has changed through the years. A lot of people say Kanehurst in this game reminds them more of Castlevania than any modern Castlevania games, which that's kind of sad and funny at the same time, I guess. Yeah, I know you're gonna go way over there. There we go. And you're way over there again. And you're over there. Oh shit, had to roll that time. Slightly out of position. I missed. Gonna need a new fire paper soon. Yep. Oh shit, there we go. I would have parried it, but I was thinking about putting my fire paper on. Oh, I missed. Oh wow, that went really smooth. That went really fucking smooth. He didn't have time to poison me. I mean, the upgraded weapon obviously helps with that, but Shit, that was a smooth fucking kill right there. Ow! Anyway, so this Iga guy, he's got a website up, swordorwhip.com, I think is what it is. I'll put it in the description, but it's teasing a new kind of spiritual successor to Castlevania, and we can kind of presume, based off of his speciality, that it's going to be a Metroidvania game. Besides, I think it even has like hashtag Egovania or something like that, so it's kind of clearly that's what it is. But 1 point of damage, we'll take it. We will take anything we can get, man. We will take anything we can get. But that's something I'm definitely interested in. I'm excited for. I'm excited to see what happens with it, and especially because it has a little teaser on that website that says 2 dimensions cannot contain my final form, which I don't know if it's... I don't think it's going to be a 3D game. I don't feel like it's going to be a 3D, but I think that's maybe a teaser that it's going to be a 2.5D game, which could really work. And the reason I say that, some of my favorite games are 2.5D, because I like old sprite style graphics, but I also like stylized, non-photorealistic rendering, like cell shaded 3D stuff as well. But more importantly for me, I absolutely fucking adore two-dimensional gameplay. Now, that's something that a lot of people may or may not be surprised by, because, you know, I guess a lot of people know me for playing Souls, right? But really the first 3D game that I ever played that I really enjoyed, and I appreciated it as a 3D game, like, I felt like there are things that this game does that I would never have experienced the same way in a 2D game. The first game like that for me was probably Demon's Souls. Now, it's not the first 3D game that I enjoyed. It's certainly not the first that I ever played. Like, I've been playing 3D, I guess, since PlayStation, really. Like, Battle Arena Toshinden was one of my first ones. I may actually bold Hunter's Mark out of here for safety purposes, instead of just climbing back down the tower. Whew, that was close. Oh, I was too slow. Come on. Attaboy. This is what I was talking about when I was saying Radiant Silvergun. I was talking about the Radiant Sword Hunter's badge. I was just making a reference to a kick-ass shmup. That's all it was. Just joking around. Just DNB being ENB. I guess we'll try to climb down, and hopefully we don't regret this. Alright, here we go. Run. Oh, shit. You got blocked me. Whew. Alright, now we need to get this Wandering Madness over here. It's got our twin shards for us. So we definitely want to pick that up. There we go. We're going to need that as we go towards +6 with our weapon. I kind of want to go to the Dream. I'm not going to, but because we just don't need it. But I kind of want to go to the Dream, and the reason why is because people have been talking about the whole doll is a great one theory, and there's a couple of important things. Like, when you go there for the first time, you get the trophy that says the source of the Dream, and really the only things that you find there are the old hunter bone and the umbilical cord and the hairpin and the doll. And the doll is there here in reality, and her finger is twitching, and so it's highly likely that the hunter's dream is actually the dream of the doll. Like, that's something I've been pondering. But instead of showing that, I'm just going to talk about it. Okay, alright. That always makes me nervous. And the next thing, I don't want to land on those boxes. We'll take less fall damage if we do, but I don't want to wake that guy up, so... do it like this. Sneak up on this beast-possessed soul. Alright, he's gonna wake up. See how little damage our visceral attacks do. It's crazy. There we go. But a lot of my favorite games have been 2.5D, and that's Valkyrie Profile Sumeria is obviously one that I adore. I consider it to be pretty much one of the most beautiful games on the PlayStation 2. Another one, and I love the gameplay. It's super innovative gameplay. But another one that I really like is Bionic Commando Rearmed. Grin, rest in peace, but that was a really, really good game. That was a really good game. I was all about those challenge rooms, man. It was so good. And I think before we open the gate, we're going to climb up here and get the numbing mist. We may not need it for Amelia. We get a +6 and we get our fire paper going, then we may not need it. But I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And we'll open this. But now I think we are going to proceed to Hemwick. Because if we go to Hemwick, we can work on getting a... ooh! A +6. And I don't know if we'll fight the boss there. We probably will at some point, because we want to unlock the ability to get runes. That's going to be very, very important for us. Sorry, I'm coughing a bit here. Alright, we're going to use pungent blood cocktails to make our life just a little bit easier. I'd like to get this dog's attention quickly. Hey, dog, get shot. Hope I didn't get the gunman's attention. Okay, I did it right. Good. Get wrecked. Now, take this guy out. Where's the other dog? There it is. Whew! That bullet, I didn't hear it coming. That guy is super sneaky with those shots. He always manages to get me. He always manages to sneak a shot around this tree. Not today, buddy. I'm onto your shit. Alright. Gotta be careful with those dogs. They can kill us pretty quick. That's the thing, like, we can totally do this, but stuff can kill us very quickly. Throw it. Ooh. Whew. Alright, well done. Well done, old chap. I think that's definitely worth using a pungent blood cocktail. I like the fact that this run is going to make us use items a little bit more and be smart about that shit. They wanted to increase your use of items this time anyway by making some of them scale and things like that, but I feel like they didn't quite hit it right, because stuff like paper, if I remember right, paper doesn't scale at all. Whereas, and even like throwing knives, they scale with skill, but they just never really get that powerful. And so that was a little bit of a disappointment. I would rather them limit your item use more, so not allowing you to hold like 10 throwing knives, maybe let you only hold 5, but make them strong. That would have been much better for me. But whatever. On a low-level game, they're still useful. First thing, I think we should probably buy some of these. throwing knives may actually be useful to us, but they're not going to be as useful as fire paper. So I want to stock up on fire paper first. Yeah. Alright. I never really got around to my other topic today. I never even finished talking about 2.5D games. I wanted to talk about like fighting games these days, like Street Fighter 4. One of the most popular games out there right now is 2.5D. It's gameplay in a 2D field, but it's 3D graphics. Guilty Gear Xrd is a fantastic one. They're really pushing the boundaries, are pushing non-photorealistic rendering in a gaming field. They're pushing it and evolving it. It's a lot more than just slapping a toon shader on some shit. I highly recommend you check that out. There are some really good technical articles that explain some of the hurdles that they encountered that you wouldn't expect to make that feel the way it does and look the way it does, and it's just fantastic. But that's going to wrap it up for today, and we'll pick up tomorrow on Milk and Toast right here. And you know what? We didn't die. This guy lives to see the light of another day.